Welcome to Deal Talk. I'm Jeffrey Veit. We're going to talk about what you can do to buy or lease smart when it comes to a car, truck, motorcycle, boat, motorhome, just like we always talk about. We're going to talk about the electric vehicle corner first. I found a few reviews in Consumer Report, March edition. A Kia Niro is about the size of a really big man's shoe. A hybrid with great MPG, though. So it's got the electric and the gas. But it's dangerously small and noisy. I don't know why you'd want to drive around in something that small. That's just dangerous. But it gets 45 MPG at the max. That's the best it can do, but still, even to anywhere close to there, it's pretty good gas mileage. It's small and noisy, and it's $30,000. And that's a Kia. Yuck. But that's on the low end of electric vehicles. I think it fits two people, and it's a really small, it's tiny. The other one that stood out to me is a Lucid Air. You can get up to 469 miles in a single charge if you're on flat land and you don't run any accessories and you don't do anything in it except for drive. You could get up to 469 miles. That's about as far as anybody's getting. That's very close to Tesla. What shocked me on this one is the price. This is crazy. Listen to this. This vehicle starts at $87,000, right? And it can get all the way up to $169,000 with accessories. The one that Consumer Report tested, as part of their magazine for March, had a sticker price of $155,000. If you listen to the nuts on the left, you'd have to switch your mortgage with your car payment. This thing's the size of a Toyota Corolla, so it's not tiny. You could fit 4 people in there, okay? But it's $150,000 worth of undependable for a huge monthly payment, and you have the vehicle and you live in a tent. It's nuts. Of course, it's a California startup company oogling the hard left, right? Because the rich will think, all right, look at that. You just buy one of those and you can get the mileage you want, and they don't have any concept. It's like, they did some studies back in the 1800s about humanity, and when groups of people get to larger than the size of 500, people get bullied, the bullies take over, they start living off from the poor. Up until then, societies can get along fine, small villages and things, never have any issues. But anyway, my point is, this electric vehicle is $155,000. And it's a company that, who knows where the resale would be. I know it'll be bad because it's an electric vehicle, but as compared to other electric vehicles, how do you know it's going to hold up? What is there good in this story? Nothing. I couldn't believe they even reviewed it. And nuts, I don't know. Gas is still the answer. These vehicles have planned problems crop up constantly. Ford shut down the F-150 EV production over a problem a couple of weeks ago, right? To get yourself your $90,000 pickup truck. It's just crazy. I watched a TikTok on Facebook. A guy with an electric vehicle waited 41 minutes, counting the time to waiting for a slot to plug his vehicle in. And in 41 minutes, he showed it right on the screen. It added 64 miles in range to his unit. And here's the part why he was on TikTok. Because that wait of 41 minutes that got him 64 miles cost him $19.10. When they have you over a barrel, electricity costs to charge will be more than gas, comparatively speaking. In many places, it already is more. And then you have all of the other issues that go along with it. The inconvenience and the fires and all this other stuff. This makes about as much sense as Joe Biden. Why people elected Joe Biden? Well, it was a mistake. Let's hope we don't make that mistake again. That's crazy. They're going to shove these things down your throat, and they're going to cost you a lot more, and you'll be broke. You're living in a tent. Maybe the rich won't, but that's a very small percentage of the population. Last week, I talked about buying motorcycles. Bike Week starts this coming week, right? March 4th. And thousands of bikes will be sold, and thousands of people will be looking for motorcycles. What do you think that does to the price? More lookers less inventory in terms of relationship, in terms of percentage. Dealers will try to get you to believe their deals. Not. This is the time when you definitely shouldn't buy a motorcycle. Some people will. As long as you do your due diligence, that's paramount. Buy a bike, but be smart, not an impulse buyer. Don't go find a street glide at the Harley store and think, oh, I got to have it. And that's what happens is then a week later you come out of the fog and you're like, what have I done? And you're never going to get a deal right now. Let's just forget that. Forget getting a deal right now on a motorcycle. There's a lot of hoopla. It's like weekends in the car business, Everybody thinks on the weekend the dealers are giving deals. No, they're not. They're directing the traffic. That's when they have all the ads out and stuff like that, because that's when you'll be around. That's when the price goes the other direction. It goes up, actually. They tell you the price is down. They pat you on the back with one hand and then pick your pocket with the other hand. Same thing. Motorcycles, same thing. They're exciting. They're fun. They're all those good things, but this is not the time to buy one. Ladies, tell your husband, no, not right now. This is just not a good time. Not for anybody, not on any motorcycle. I don't care what kind it is. But due diligence is paramount. Buy a bike, yes, but be smart, not an impulse buyer. Do your due diligence and stick with OTD and CPI, just like a motor vehicle, just like any other motor vehicle. Don't let anybody take advantage of you. Don't let them get a hold of you. That's what we're talking about here. That's the whole point of what we're talking about. If you like the show, please take a couple of minutes and do a review on whatever podcast source you use to get your podcast. If you've already done a review, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I really do. You want to be a great friend and relative? Tell your friends about Deal Talk. Not to get more people on Deal Talk. That's not why I mention it. It's because when they save money, and everybody does, I don't care who you are, you listen to what I talk about in this podcast, it'll save everybody some amount of money, some more than others, possibly big money, and your friends, your relatives, they'll thank you because you told them about it. Listeners who like some written material to carry with you when you're out shopping, you want to feel better having a little information on you, and I would, for one. I think it's just a good idea. It's a good idea to have it even if you're not sure if you need it or not, because it's $3, right? Barnes & Noble or Amazon Kindle, you can download The Informed Buyer for $3 to your phone or your pad or whatever and have it with you. It's like great notes. It's $3. Think about that. How can you not be a benefit for $3? Anyway, dealing tips that apply to all vehicles of vehicle buying. That's what I think I'd like to cover a little bit today. The process at the dealership can and will completely be different from dealer to dealer, regardless of the product. It's the basics of dealing and protecting yourself, or getting the information you absolutely need to have. Let's cover some of the basics of this process, just a quick basics about it. Not just any kind of particular, I don't care if it's a bike or a car, a motorcycle, truck. Buying and selling boil down to who knows the facts and who uses them. That's what it boils down to. Do you really need to shop your trade in a used vehicle dealers after getting the book prices? Yes. Yes, you do. Because the books will tell you the retail. Used car dealers make you offers based on wholesale, which is what the dealer, when you trade, is going to be looking at your vehicle for. They may offer you more than that by taking what discount they would give and add it to that value, and that makes it look like you're getting more for your trade. It's just smoke and mirrors. That's why I always say, deal on the vehicle first, talk about the trade next. You don't have to be put into your research more than you need to, just the basics that we talk about. Books are educated guesses that cover every part of the country and every market. Shopping your trade with used vehicle dealers and comparing it to the book gives you the reality of the market you're in, whereas where you'll be trading it. Won't one or two online quotes get the job done? That can be and often isn't a true picture of the market, especially in large metro markets. You need 4 quotes to cover the possibilities. And at least one should be from outside your market area, city or country, 100 miles away or so. You got to remember, Not only for the pricing, but you can buy a vehicle anywhere and get it serviced where you live. That's the agreement with the factory. All manufacturers will warranty your vehicle and do warranty work no matter where you purchase it. Now, you may not be able to qualify for a loaner car then if you ever needed one, but that's okay, rent one. And I'm not saying to go out of town and buy one. I'm saying get the price from somebody out of town. And then you got to deal in person. First of all, dealing in person eliminates any middle mouths to feed. You know what I mean? It's like Carvana and Auto Vital and all those companies. They're just another mouth to feed in the deal. That's all you're getting. It also gives you a chance to investigate the entire dealership where you're at, all of its amenities, plus get a feel for the culture. Because the culture of the dealership is throughout the whole dealership. If you have a bad experience when you're looking at the vehicle, it's not going to get better. It isn't. And face-to-face, people are a lot more flexible. For a dealer, an internet deal is just an email. That's all it is. It's not in front of them. They don't feel the same way about it. The dealer getting it to where you can afford it or where you want it to be isn't the reason to buy either. It doesn't mean much. They say, well, I got your payment in line. Just because a dealer flexes to meet your budget doesn't mean you shouldn't question and compare it. How did they get to your budget? Usually, when you're talking payments, usually they get there by extending the term. Sometimes, often, unless you ask, they aren't telling you. Instead of 66 or 60 months, they go out to 72 months. You think, wow, I got a deal. You didn't get anything. You just got a longer debt. That's all you got. Didn't cost the dealer a nickel. If the dealer gives you a little better interest rate or a little more on your trade, it does not mean forget about everything else. OTD, CPI, all those things have to be handled right. If you're financing, and 90% of people do, a dealer can get your payment anywhere you want without changing the price by extending the finance term. It doesn't have to change the price at all. Don't bury your head in the sand because they adjust your monthly or add a little to your trade. Keep track of all the factors to get a good deal. You must be assertive, not rude or aggressive, but assertive. You might like the dealer, but they aren't your buddy. They won't be embarrassed to lower the numbers. Often people will say things to me, or I'm sure to you, I don't want to shop around because I have a friend in the business, or my nephew is a salesperson, or my home family buys there. There's no need to shop. They always take care of us. These circumstances make a person feel more secure. But are they true? A sad fact is, statistically, in the automobile business, friends and families are always the biggest profits for dealerships because of the trust. And you got to remember, everybody in a dealership answers to somebody. Next time you're going to a friend or a family member or somebody you know for a deal, go do your due diligence first. You don't even have to tell them. Just go get it done, the due diligence, the way the podcast talks about doing it. And then when you go to your friend, compare that figure they give you to what you just got from your due diligence. I think that you'll be surprised. It'll always be more than what your due diligence has shown you, taught you. People don't give it away for no reason, you know? They just want to, they may, buying from a friend or neighbor may take care of you more, you know, in terms of smiling at you more or making sure that you get a ride home when you need it, but that's got nothing to do with buying a vehicle. One price stores, that's another one. They're in every town. Every town has that one price dealer, right? No haggling at our store. Just coming in the price. The best price is right on the window. Ho-hum at best. Their best price is ho-hum at best. One price isn't used to help you. No, it's all about the dealership. So be aware of that in a one-price store. There's still things in a one-price store that are negotiable. Things like accessories or your trade-in value, things like that. They can adjust, if you have a trade, they can adjust the price as much as they want because they can just apply it to the trade. That's all. Another tip is if you're comparing numbers between dealers and the out the door is very close, look at the dealer fee. If the out the door is the same or close, whoever has the lower dealer fee is the one to deal with, even if the numbers are the same. The dealer fee is not protected by insurance. A dealer fee won't be figured in a loss unless the vehicle is brand new, and maybe not even then. Better to have those dollars reflected in the price instead of a fee. Look at any book you want. I don't care what book it is. There's no ad for dealer fee. Once you pay that money, it's gone. A lot of listeners complain about the dealer wanting a lot of information before talking price. Sometimes there's a good reason, like needing to get your credit score so they can quote your payment under the right interest rate. If you already know your credit score, they don't need the information. You tell them, you say, look, if I'm lying to you, then this won't apply, but this is my credit score. All of the other information is so they can contact you afterwards. You don't buy and you leave, and they want to be able to hound you with a phone call, which is okay. As they negotiate or they talk on the phone, what they're doing is slowly going down on price. And the more of that they do, the better it is, right? Their theory is the more you answer, the easier it is to get a yes out of you. And I don't know if that's true. I'm not a psychologist, but that's what they think. The story about checking the terrorist list, remember they used to do that? I don't know, maybe they still do, but, we have to check your name on the terrorist list. We need your name and address. And no, they don't. They only need to check the terrorist list if you buy. Terrorist list doesn't cover people shopping, only buyers. And I don't even know that they do that anymore, but they don't need anything until you're buying. Most dealers use a worksheet, right, when they're talking about numbers. Don't be afraid of that worksheet. That's your friend. They, of course, will try to pin you down to the biggest concern you have. Usually it's a 4-square piece of paper with 4 squares on it. One's the price, one's the down payment, one's the trade-in, and one's the monthly payment. And they see which one you squawk about, and they find out where you want to be, and then they raise one of the other ones like a teeter-totter. One side goes down, the other one goes up. Your only concern should be the OTD or the CPI. Complete payment information or the total out-the-door number. Doesn't matter what they put in it. What's it take to get it out the door? If the numbers are in writing, there's no backing up. If they estimate your payments instead of a correct payment, tell them, no, what's the correct payment? Give me the exact payment. And if they won't give it to you, just get up and leave. If you have pricing on the worksheet and you've stopped at the banks and shopped banks, and you have a payment calculator, which I talk about downloading from the internet or, the App Store, payment calculator, figure your own payments. You don't need them to figure your payments for you. You do it yourself, right? If the dealer won't give you a firm payment based on the beacon score or an out the door, it's time to leave. There's no sense in talking along with them if they're not going to give you what you need. Okay, thanks a lot. Have a nice day. Right? Figure your own payments. Advertising, that's another question. There's another tip. I always say the ad pricing doesn't mean a thing. But what does have meaning is the disclosure section at the bottom. When you see a dealer's ad and it has a big disclosure way down in real fine print, at the bottom of the page, if it's a big one, that's bad. Some disclosure's okay. They got to tell you it's plus tax and title. They might not have that in their price, tax and title. Things that talk about what is included, but if the disclosure talks about things missing or things left out of the pricing, like it doesn't include rebate, or includes all rebates that you might not qualify for, or, includes $2,000 down or whatever they have in there, right? That means the dealer has no ethics. So the one thing you can get out of a dealer's advertising is what kind of dealer they are. And believe me, it doesn't get better. Here's a few odds and ends on used. Always check for flood signs, no matter where you live. Carfax always. Flood signs always, even if you get a Carfax. You got to look. Tractor trailers with cars on them go everywhere. Doesn't matter where you live. Always get a copy of the dealer's repair order from the Get Ready where they got the vehicle ready for the lot. See what the dealer did to the vehicle after they got it. If they had to put new brakes on it and it's got 15,000 miles on it, something's wrong with that picture. There's a lot of things you can logicize out of that repair order. Call some used vehicle dealers and tell them you're selling one exactly like the one you're looking at. Hey, I got a such and such with this kind of miles. I wanted to get an idea what you'd pay for it before I come down there. Can you give me just an idea? Their number, or average number of, if you call 4 or 5, the average is the wholesale value of the one you're looking at. Add 20% to that about, and that's what the dealer should be selling it for, or at least asking. Doesn't mean you got to pay that for it. 10% ought to be enough profit for sure, or less. You're in the driver's seat in every circumstance. Be assertive and insist on the answers. Don't settle for no answer. And if they tell you we don't negotiate prices, leave. They'll negotiate prices. You're just talking to the wrong guy. That's what you call the GM or the owner. I found a dealer who'll sell me this vehicle that I want for, let's say, $25,000. It's in I don't know, Jacksonville. I'll go use Florida because I live there. And the dealer's in Orlando. You say, look, I'd rather buy in Orlando, but I'm not going to pay more money for it. And these guys tell me they won't negotiate. I mean, what is the story? Believe me, the owner will melt like a popsicle in the sun. I'm telling you. They want customers because they look at you at a lot more than just a car sale. You're in the driver's seat. Remember that. Leasing has no rules now, at least until the Attorney General does something about it. You must trade in the make you have, a Ford, for instance, at Ford, or a Honda at Honda. If you're going to trade it in, you can't trade it in a competitive dealer. They're working on it, though. I got a call from the Attorney General about it. So, Attorney General's office, the U.S. Attorney General, after I had reported it and talked with one of their investigators, and then now one of their attorneys has called, and I gave them information, and I don't know what they're doing, but it sounded like, they won't tell you, but it sounded like it's been a couple of years since the whole thing took off. I think it's been about 2 years. Sounds to me like they're going to get active on this. And because not only did they do it, but they colluded. It was all done in the same month. That's collusion, no question about it. I think they got them on that tenfold. Now, you can buy your vehicle at the end and then sell it. That's what I did with mine. I bought it at the end. You got to pay tax on it, whatever you buy on it, because you haven't paid sales tax on the vehicle. You've only paid tax on the payments when you lease. That's one of the big advantages. And when you go to trade that vehicle that you leased, if you buy it and then you trade it, you won't pay tax on the trade value of it. In 42 out of 50 states anyway. This was the most dishonest, deceptive thing done by the manufacturers in the last few years. Don't forget it. Don't buy the same make to show your disdain for what they've colluded as companies. Because used cars were at a premium, they wouldn't let you trade them in. They wanted to gouge the public so that they could have those to sell. They are so short-sighted in some cases. I can't believe Honda did it, but they did it. They just was so short-sighted of them. This is just a list of odds and ends to bring you up in case you missed them. That's all. That's why I wanted to talk about odds and ends today, because they play such a big part in what's going on when you're trying to buy a vehicle. There are plenty more in the hundreds of episodes. The podcast isn't like reading a last week's newspaper. It's not. It's this stuff they get better at it. They get practice. These guys really think of gimmicks all the time. They really do. They try to come up with ways, and they'll talk about things on electric vehicles to make you think they're selling. They're not selling. They're selling a few crazy markets a little bit because of maybe the wealthier. They're trying to, they're incentivizing them to get a picture drawn. I mean, it's crazy what they do. And I'm glad that I don't live in California. I think everybody that probably listens to the podcast is glad they don't live there. It used to be the best place to live, and now it's for sure one of the worst. Almost anything in all the episodes that I do still applies. I can't think of anything in the episodes that doesn't apply. Trading your vehicle in after you lease it doesn't apply. Years ago, I would talk about that being an advantage because it was. I mean, I always made money on my trade, always, after I leased. This time I bought it, I can still make money on it when I sell it. I drive it another year or two, and then I can sell it. And some people can't do that, though. They can't afford to buy it. That's why they're leasing. So those people get stuck. That's the way it works. But one thing that can help you in that situation, if you have a Honda, you have to trade it with a Honda dealer, but not any specific Honda dealer. So you can drive your Honda around to 3 or 4 stores and get the Honda dealers bidding on your vehicle above and beyond what the other guy bids. So you can get a little bit of a negotiation going on there where one dealer needs to trade more than another and they outbid them on the trade value because you can still get extra trade value on your trade. What about specific motorcycle buying? Like I said earlier, Bike Week is next week. Buying motorcycles can be an impulse purchase if you let it be. There's no question about it. Don't fall for the deal is today only baloney. It is today only because it's probably higher than it normally is. It's the last one. Never the last one. Might be the last one when they have that day. There are other buyers waiting. Yeah, there's other buyers waiting for, ice cream cones too. That doesn't mean anything either. Don't let any of that stuff put the heat on you. You don't have to have it today. And they'll tell you, handle your insurance later. Worry about that tomorrow. No. When it comes to motorcycles, get the insurance done first. believe me, you could be shocked. You might fall right out of your chair when you get the price of the insurance on a motorcycle. You got to remember, in a motorcycle, in a car, you get in a wreck. Car has damage. They're going to spend a few thousand on it. Usually that's the end of it, unless it's, an unusual bad wreck. Motorcycle, people get killed. It's different. The risk for the insurance company is much greater, and you can't blame them. It is. I've been in motorcycle wrecks. 3 of them. Yeah. 2 of them I wasn't hurt at all. I got rear-ended at a stoplight. Just get rolled up and bump your thing and bend your fender or whatever. Well, no, I was in bad shape. A lot of broken bones. I was in a coma. It was a long time ago, but it's different. And you can't blame them because they got to guard against that. Or how about the motorcycle dealership? Well, we've got the best interest rates. That's not true either. There are banks that don't like to finance motorcycles. That's true. But most do. So if you shop the banks, you're going to run into some that want to shop a motorcycle. So if you need one the same day, you go into the dealer, you have set yourself up for a poor deal. Yep, you got to have one today and you're going to go in and buy one. That's not the right way to have it work, especially during bike week. They've got a lot more buyers, so they're not going to work as hard on you. Yeah, okay, next. That's not the week to buy it. You got to do your due diligence. Go during bike week and get the information. All the bikes will be there. All the information. Look them over. Look at the accessories. Get all the information. Know what the MSRP is. Get the booklets, the manuals, all that stuff. But don't buy. Do your due diligence. You want the information to be current and true. Bike week is the worst time to buy because of, like any product, when there are a lot of buyers, the prices go up and at least become far less negotiable. Yep, there's no deals during bike week. It's exactly the opposite of what you would think or what they try to get you to believe. Yep, it's just like weekends at a car dealership. You think it's the cheaper on the weekend because they got an ad running. Nope. Tuesday afternoon at 3 o'clock, that's cheaper. That's the way it is. Used bikes, look them over totally because Carfax and AutoCheck are not nearly as thorough on bikes because they're not required to report as much. So if you're going to check a bike out, a used bike, be sure and look underneath it on the chassis. Look at the frame. See if it's been down. You can tell if it's been down. On the frame, it'll be all scratched up and stuff. Or because they'll just paint over the scratches in the frame if they're detailing it for the lot. And bike frames bend. It's not like a car. You can bend the frame and you can't get it back. I don't care what anybody tells you. They're never straight again, right? Never. If you get things together and are buying, finance in the accessories and the clothing. Get all the other stuff you're going to get, especially on a Harley. If you're going to get a pipes and, clean air kit and you're going to get some other stuff on it and some chrome and you want a pair of boots and jackets, finance it in with a bike. Get all that finance in. This rates on a bike finance will probably be a lot lower than it would be if you purchase the accessories on a credit card. Plus, it becomes part of the payment. You don't have any surprises. You don't have to use your cash. There are not nearly as many motorcycle mechanics so purchase the extended warranty. Right? I'm telling you, there aren't as many. So you need an extended warranty on a motorcycle. But only, and I mean only, the one sold by the bike manufacturer for the bike you're buying. In other words, don't go to a Harley store and buy an extended warranty from some outside company, not Harley. Some will try to sell you some other company because they're making money on it. And the other outside company, you're not the customer. The dealer's the customer. When you buy an extended warranty from Harley, you're the customer. It's a whole different attitude. You got to buy the factory warranty. If you're going to buy a warranty, only get the factory one. Don't anybody con you into anything else. The factory's got more skin in the deal. No question about it. The other guys, those other warranty companies, to them, the dealer's their customer, not you. The due diligence is the same as any other vehicle. So don't skip it. Because the price from like dealers can vary by as much as 10% more on some vehicles. I personally can tell you that when I was selling bikes, when I was in that business and I was working the deals, it wouldn't be uncommon for some stores to be $4,000 or $5,000 more than another store for the same vehicle. I know you'd think, well, how could that be? It was because it was a very low supply and a very high demand, and it wasn't baloney. Now, it's not like that. There are plenty of Harleys to go around, lots of dealers and lots of bikes, and you got nothing to worry about. You can find a motorcycle all over the place. Don't let anybody take advantage of you. Don't fall for that stuff. Don't be pressured into buying one. My suggestion, if you can get a deal right now, okay, fine. Then you get a deal right now. But I don't think that's the case. If I were you, I'd do my due diligence and I wouldn't buy during Bike Week. That's just my personal opinion. Good time to look. Good time to get a feel for it. Good time to know what accessories you want and what coat you want and what boots and all that kind of stuff. Not a good time to buy. Nope, never good for the consumer. Not those times. Well, that's Deal Talk for this week. If you have a question or request or even a comment, please call, text, or email me. Callers or text dial 407-801-4071. That's 407-801-4071. Leave a message. I'll call you back. Or you can just text to it and I'll get the text. For email, it's dealtalk@mail.com. Simple one. dealtalk@mail.com. Please don't forget to do a review and do yourself a favor and get a copy of The Informed Buyer from Amazon or from Barnes & Noble. I'm telling you, it's the best $3 you'll ever spend. How can you not get anything back from it? Even if you went in and you saved, because you had it with you, $300. Some people save thousands. I've saved people thousands of dollars by giving them the right things to ask for and to go over. And I've had some people only saved them $300 or $400. We're talking about $3 for the Informed Buyer. It's not a waste of money. If you want to be a hero, tell your friends and family, like I talked about earlier. Tell them about Deal Talk. They'll save money. They'll thank you. They won't call up and thank me. Oh, if you have. But generally speaking, they're going to thank whoever told them about it. However I can help you, you call me or email me and you'll hear from me and I'll give you an answer. I don't always have an answer, but almost always. And remember, every payment you get should be CPI, complete payment information, the amount, the months, the rate, any required down payment to get to those terms, not on just the first payment. Nope. Every single time they quote you a payment, you make sure that's included because they can change that stuff. And every time you get a price, if you're going to do your own financing, you go in the dealer, you just want a total price, make sure that you tell them I want it all in. Every single cost required in buying a vehicle. I don't want any secrets. The sales tax and the plates and the dealer fee and all the options, everything. I want it all in that number. I want the OTD out the door.